Imagine floating 500 meters above a dark, silent abyss. One tiny slip and life ends. Yet far below lies the vital pulse of our digital world today. Deep beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, a silent network hums with the data of billions, bridging continents and cultures through miles of incredibly fragile glass. These undersea cables are the hidden nervous system of Earth, carrying 99% of all international data through the vast, cold silence of the deep sea floor. Without this hidden web, the modern world would go dark instantly. No finance, no communication, no global connection, just the isolation of the pre-digital era once more. In cities like New York, the neon glow hides the truth that every digital interaction relies on a physical tether resting thousands of miles away under the sea. Every email, video call, and bank transfer is converted into pulses of light, traveling at nearly the speed of light through these thin, miraculous underwater glass threads. From London to Tokyo, the heartbeat of humanity is synchronous, powered by a technology so robust yet so delicate that it requires constant, masterful engineering efforts today. To understand how these giants are born, we must enter the heart of the factory, where extreme heat and precision create the core of our global connectivity. It begins with a preform, a rod of ultra-pure glass, so clear that if it were miles thick, you could still see through it perfectly well. Heated to over 2,000 degrees Celsius, the glass softens, ready to be drawn into a strand thinner than a human hair, but stronger than most metals. This drawing process is like pulling a piece of clay into an infinite noodle, yet it requires precision down to the very last atom for success. Though thinner than a single strand of hair, this glass thread can carry terabits of data every second across the entire width of the Atlantic Ocean. Thousands of kilometers of this fiber are wound onto spools, creating the sensitive nerves that will eventually link people across the most distant corners of Earth. Inside the core, light bounces in a perfect dance of physics. This is the magic of total internal reflection, keeping the signal strong over vast distances. Without this precise geometry, the light would scatter and the message would be lost. Every micron of the glass must be flawlessly engineered for global communication. Quality control is relentless. Even a microscopic impurity could cause data loss, meaning every meter is scanned for perfection before it ever leaves the factory. And these spools are the raw components of our civilization. Thousands of miles of potential conversation and knowledge, waiting to be armored and sent to the deep. The drawing tower is a monument to human ingenuity, standing tall as it breathes life into the threads that define our modern, interconnected digital existence. Precision is everything. At these scales, the margin for error is zero. The factory operates on the edge of what is physically possible for mankind. Designing these fibers requires deep knowledge of physics and material science, ensuring that the light pulses remain crisp after thousands of miles of travel. From the fire of the furnace to the cold of the cooling chambers, the fiber is forged to be resilient, ready for the next stage. But a single strand is too weak for the ocean. It needs protection. It needs the strength of steel to survive the weight of the sea. Now we move to the heavy machinery. To protect the glass, we need real muscles. These massive steel coils will become the cable's primary defense system. These wires undergo a process called cold drawing. It changes their internal structure, making them incredibly tough and resistant to the crushing pressures of the deep. At the microscopic level, the pearlite crystals align, creating a barrier that can withstand thousands of pounds of pressure per square inch without breaking or deforming. The machine spins with violent grace, binding the wires around the core in a precise spiral. This geometry ensures the cable remains flexible, yet incredibly strong. This is the armor that will guard our data against ship anchors, tectonic shifts, and the crushing weight of 5 miles of ocean water pressing down. Every weld must be perfect. A single flaw in the armor could allow water to seep in, destroying the fragile glass fibers within and silencing the connection. The cable is now a heavy industrial product, as a far cry from the delicate glass hair it started as. It is a masterpiece of composite engineering. Testing is constant. Each batch of steel is pushed to its absolute limit to ensure it will never fail when resting in the cold Atlantic depths. The sheer scale of production is breathtaking. Thousands of miles of steel and glass are forged here, destined to lie silent at the bottom of the world. Notice the precision of the twist. This specific angle allows the cable to be coiled onto ships without kinking or damaging the sensitive fibers inside. Heat and pressure are the tools of this trade. We are building a vessel for light that must survive for at least 25 years underwater. Human eyes and robotic sensors work together, scanning for the slightest imperfection in the metal surface that could lead to corrosion in salty water. It is the science of metallurgy that makes global internet possible. Without these specific steel alloys, the cables would simply be crushed by the ocean's weight. Even a direct hit from a falling rock or a dragging anchor must be resisted. The armor is the cable's first and most important line of defense. Now that the muscles are built, it is time for the skin. A multi-layered shield that will fight against the chemical and biological threats of the sea. A thick layer of polyethylene is extruded over the steel. This high-density plastic is the cable's waterproof skin, keeping the corrosive salt water far away. Under the plastic lies a layer of copper. This isn't for data, but for power. It carries thousands of volts to feed the signal repeaters underwater. Without this power, the light signals would fade into nothingness. The copper layer ensures that our data has the energy to travel across entire oceans. The ocean is a hostile place. Sharks are attracted to the electromagnetic fields of the cables, but this tough outer shell is built to survive their bites. Every centimeter is marked. This phalanx of layers plastic, copper, steel, and glass is a marvel of modern materials, science, and industrial manufacturing expertise. Water is the enemy. Even a single molecule of moisture reaching the glass would be a disaster. The waterproofing must be absolute and permanent for decades. From the outside in, polyethylene, mylar tape, steel wires, aluminum, copper, petroleum jelly, and finally, the precious fiber optic strands at the very center. As the cable is completed, it is wound onto giant reels. A single reel can hold enough cable to cross a small sea, weighing hundreds of tons. Precision sensors ensure the protective skin is uniform. Any thin spot could become a point of failure after years of exposure to the elements. Once deployed, the cable becomes part of the environment. Its outer shell is designed to be inert, while causing no harm to the delicate marine ecosystems it inhabits. We test the insulation with tens of thousands of volts. If the plastic can hold this much power here, it can survive the electrical stresses of the deep. In rougher terrain, even more layers are added. Bitumen and nylon yarn provide a final cushion against the jagged rocks of the continental shelf. It is a fortress in motion. Every layer has a purpose. Every material has been chosen to withstand the most extreme environment on our planet. The joints where sections meet are the most vulnerable. These are handled with the same care as a surgical procedure to ensure a perfect seal. The manufacturing is complete. Now, the cable must face its final tests before it begins its epic journey across the dark, unmapped ocean floor. In these tanks, we simulate the crushing weight of 5 miles of water. The cable must hold its breath and its shape under unimaginable forces. Every meter is scrutinized. A failure here is a learning opportunity. Failure at the bottom of the ocean is a multi-million-dollar disaster for the world. The journey begins. These specialized ships are marvels themselves, capable of carrying thousands of miles of cable in their massive circular storage tanks. This is a global mission. These ships will spend months at sea, slowly unspooling the thread that keeps our modern civilization connected and functional. Coiling the cable takes weeks. It must be done perfectly so that it can be laid smoothly onto the seafloor without a single tangle or snag. At a few knots per hour, the ship moves forward, whispering the cable into the depths. It is a slow, meticulous dance between man and nature. Robotic eyes watch the cable as it lands. We must ensure it rests in the safest path, avoiding underwater mountains and dangerous volcanic vents. Near the coast, we bury the cable deep in the sand to protect it from fishing nets and anchors. This is the most dangerous part of its life. Engineers monitor every tension change. The cable must not be too tight or too loose. It is a delicate balance spanning thousands of miles of distance. Every 50 miles, a repeater is added. These signal boosters ensure that the pulses of light stay bright and clear throughout their long journey. In the middle of the ocean, far from any shore, this ship is the only link between two worlds, creating a bridge made of light and steel.
It is so good to
From the
see
fire
your
of the
face,
factory
beta.
to the
The
silence of the
connection
deep,
is
the
perfect
contrast
today.
is total. Yet
I
one
miss
cannot
you,
exist
Ma.
without the other
I should be
in our
home
modern
next
world.
month.
Every time you call a loved one or stream a video, remember the silent heroes lying in the dark. They make these moments possible every day. This is the result of thousands of hands working together. It is an achievement of human will, bridging the gap between imagination and reality. These engineers and workers are the silent architects of the internet. Their dedication ensures that the pulse of our civilization never skips a single beat. It is a testament to quality, a perfection that must last for decades in a place where humans can never go without the help of machines. The data center is the brain, but the undersea cable is the artery. Together, they form the most complex machine ever built by the human race. As the sun sets on the ship, the work continues beneath the waves. The data never sleeps, and neither does the network we've built together. Deep in the dark, where no sunlight ever reaches, our thoughts and voices travel in silence, protected by layers of steel and human ingenuity. We are more connected than ever before. Distance is no longer a barrier, but a challenge we have conquered through the power of light and glass. Every meter of cable is a story of triumph, a story of how we decided that the ocean was not a wall, but a beautiful bridge. From the deepest trenches to the highest towers, the world is one. This is the legacy of the undersea cable and the people who build them. These are the silent heroes of the digital age. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the factory that keeps the entire world connected.